Part 1. The Hidden Invitation. Let me ask you something, a thing we rarely stop to consider. What if right now you are standing at a crossroads of eternity and don't even realize it? What if the gate to life isn't big and bold like we expect, but so narrow, so unassuming that we glide past it every day, distracted by noise, comfort, and routine? Jesus didn't sugarcoat this. He said plainly, "Enter through the narrow gate." And then he warned, many will seek it, but few will find it. Why? Because this gate doesn't just ask you to step through it, asks you to lay down everything you cling to: your ego, your pride, your secret sins, your self-reliance. It's open to everyone, but few are willing to pay the price of full surrender. I'll never forget my friend's raw honesty. She told me for years I thought I was good with God. I had the checklist church-giving volunteering. I looked the part, but deep down, I knew I was still gripping the steering wheel of my life. Then came the storm, a crushing financial collapse, a betrayal that cut deep. Her world shattered. And in that rubble, she finally saw at the narrow gate. She told me I realized it's not about adding more good works. It's about surrendering the throne of my heart. It's about dying to my old self. That's when her real transformation began. And here's the unsettling truth. Many of us become experts at looking the part. But the narrow gate doesn't measure appearances. It measures what's really going on inside. It asks, are you truly surrendered, or just polished on the outside? And just as you begin to sense that small, quiet gate, another road appears. It's wide. It's smooth. It promises a comfort, ease, and quick wins. But beneath that polished surface lurks the greatest trap of all. In the next part, we'll unpack why that wide road feels so right, but silently pulls you away from life itself. Part 2. The seduction of the wide road. Let's be real. The wide road. It's tempting, seductive, and honestly, it feels right. It promises everything we crave: quick success, the praise of people, comfort, ease, and the kind of happiness that looks perfect on the outside. It whispers, "You deserve this. God must be blessing you. Look how good your life is." And here's the scary part. It doesn't feel dangerous at all. In fact, it feels like a blessing. I remember a wealthy businessman telling me, "For years I thought my success was proof of God's favor. I was thriving financially, everyone respected me. And honestly, I felt invincible. But then everything crumbled. A market crash. Business collapsed. He lost almost everything overnight." He told me, "That's when I realized I had built my entire life on sand. It looked strong, but underneath there was no true foundation." That's the trap of the wide road. It offers fast results, but it never delivers lasting peace. Jesus was clear in Matthew 7, "Wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it." The tragedy: most people don't realize they're on the wrong path until the storm hits, and everything falls apart. Here's the hard truth: the wide road rarely looks evil. It feels safe, full of half-truths that quietly, persistently steer you off course. It tells you that external success equals spiritual health, that as long as you're good, you're fine. But Jesus flips that idea upside down. And just when you think you're making progress, the road starts to narrow. The real test begins the part where comfort fades, and the true cost of following Christ becomes clear. And the deadliest part: you feel secure, even blessed, while your heart is quietly drifting away. In the next part, we'll break down why so many people, even after starting strong, turn back when the road gets tight. and what it really takes to keep going. Part: the narrowing path, where many turn back. 6 Hadra. Here's the thing, no one really tells you the narrow gate. It's not a one-time squeeze, it's a path that keeps getting tighter. Sure, it starts small, but the further you walk, the more it demands your pride, your secret habits, your need to fit in your attachment to comfort. Jesus didn't say, "Try your best." He said, "Take up your cross daily." That's why many turn back. Not because they can't find the gate, but because once inside, they realize this path is costly. I'll never forget the story of a father battling alcohol addiction. He told me for years I prayed, "Lord, forgive me." Well, and then I'd go right back to my old ways. One day, his little daughter looked up and asked, "Dad, when are you really going to keep your promise?" That question hit harder than any sermon. He said, "In that moment, I saw it. I kept asking God to forgive, but I wasn't stepping into real obedience." The narrow path. It's not words, it's action. And it cost him. He had to walk away from old friends, face deep shame, and rebuild trust, brick by brick. But step by step, he stayed the course. This is where the narrow path tests us most. Not when things are easy, but when resistance hits. When obedience feels painful. When surrender looks like loss. Here's the brutal truth: you can't fake your way through this. The narrow path strips you down until only what's real remains. And just when you're wrestling at your weakest, a new temptation shows up, the lure of spiritual shortcuts. They look holy, they feel safer, and they promise a quicker way to peace. But don't be fooled. These shortcuts are some of the most dangerous traps on your journey. In the next part, we'll unpack exactly why these shortcuts, though tempting, can quietly sabotage your deepest transformation. Part 4. The fake shortcuts. Let's slow down for a moment and get real about something that traps more people than we realize: the fake shortcuts. See, once you've started walking the narrow path, you hit that point where it gets hard. Really hard. The cost feels high. The road feels lonely. And deep down, you start to wonder, is there an easier way to do this? That's exactly when these shortcuts appear. They look spiritual. They feel like solutions. And they seem safer. But here's the danger: they keep you busy on the outside while your heart stays untouched. Let's unpack a few of the most common traps. First, emotional faith. This is when we chase spiritual highs. The goosebumps during worship, the tears at the altar, the excitement of big conferences. None of that is bad. But the trap. When your entire faith depends on feelings. If you don't feel it, you think God's not moving. But true faith, it's built in the quiet, in obedience when no one's watching, in the dry seasons, when you still show up. Second, legalism. This shortcut says, if you just keep all the rules perfectly, you're good with God. So we focus on behavior. Don't do this. Don't do that. But miss the heart. We become like the Pharisees. Jesus rebuked clean on the outside, but messy inside. Third, spiritual performance. This one is sneaky. We serve post-Bible verses, lead small groups, and it looks impressive. But if we're honest, sometimes it's more about looking spiritual than truly being transformed. I remember a woman who wrestled with this. She told me I was addicted to chasing spiritual experiences. I went to every healing service I could find. I cried, fell on my knees, and for a while I thought I was changing. But when I got home, my heart was the same. Her breakthrough came in the most unexpected way. I finally stopped chasing noise and sat still. No music, no show, just me and God. And in that silence, He began to strip away the things I'd been hiding. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't instant, but it was real. And that's the truth about fake shortcuts. They give you the illusion of progress, but keep you circling the same mountain over and over. The deadliest part. You feel close to God, while your heart quietly drifts further away. Jesus was clear. Not everyone who says to me, "Lord, Lord," will enter the kingdom, but only those who do the will of my Father. It's not about how loud your faith looks. It's about how deeply surrendered you are. So here's the big question. Where might you be holding on to a shortcut? Where are you settling for looking the part instead of letting God transform the deepest parts of you? Because as hard as it is, the narrow path is the only road that leads to real life. And here's the beautiful promise for those who keep walking, who don't give up when it's hard, who refuse the fake shortcuts. Something breathtaking is waiting at the end. In the next part, we'll step into that promise and unpack why it's worth every sacrifice. Part 5. The summit. Why it's worth everything. Let's be honest. The narrow path. It's exhausting. It stretches you, breaks you, and sometimes makes you want to quit. But here's the secret that few talk about: the reward is beyond anything this world can offer. Jesus never promised ease, but He promised life. Not just any life, but life that's unshakable. Peace that doesn't crumble. Joy that runs deeper than circumstances. I once spoke with an older man, someone who had lost almost everything by the world's standards. His house was modest, his clothes simple, his wallet thin. But when he spoke, there was a quiet power in his voice. He told me, "I don't have much in this world, but I have something no one can steal: complete peace, and a faith as solid as rock." That stuck with me. Because we live in a world that chases more stuff, more success, more comfort. But this man, he had found the treasure. Jesus talked about a kingdom within that can't be shaken. And here's the thing. You don't feel the full beauty of this journey until you press through the hardest parts. Just like climbing a mountain, the air gets thin, your muscles ache, and every step feels like it might be your last. But when you finally reach the summit, you see it. The breathtaking view, the clarity, the quiet. And suddenly, every sacrifice, every hard choice makes perfect sense. That's what the narrow path is like. It feels costly in the moment, but in the end, it leads to something eternal. Peace that money can't buy. Joy that no storm can wash away. A sense of purpose that no failure can touch. The Apostle Paul said it like this: "Our present troubles are small and won't last very long. Yet they produce for us a glory that vastly outweighs them and will last forever." This is why, even when the road feels brutal, even when others give up, we keep walking. Because what's waiting at the summit is worth everything. And here's the most beautiful part. This journey. It's not reserved for the elite or the super spiritual. It's open to you, right here, right now. In the final part, we'll wrap it all together and talk about how you can take your very first or next step through the narrow gate today. Conclusion. Choose your gate. Here's the truth laid bare. Every single day, you and I stand at the same crossroads. The wide road, easy, familiar, comfortable, or the narrow gate, challenging, stretching, but leading to real life. It's not a one-time decision. It's a choice we make again, and again, and again. And yes, the narrow path is hard. It tests your pride. It shakes your comfort. It demands surrender. But it's the only path that leads you home. Do you remember the friend I mentioned at the start? The one who looked like she had it all together but was still clinging to control. She told me something I'll never forget. The day I chose to step through the narrow gate was the day my real life finally began. And that's the invitation for you today. Jesus is still calling, still waiting, still holding that small, quiet door open. The question is simple. Will you step in or keep circling the wide road? Whatever you choose, know this. You are not alone. And every single step you take toward true surrender brings you closer to the peace, purpose, and unshakable life you were created for. If today's message stirred something in your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone else who might be standing at their own crossroads right now. And if you found this valuable hit, leave a comment and subscribe for more. Your engagement helps spread these life-changing truths to people who need it most. Don't miss the next video, where we'll dive deeper into how to stay grounded and strong, even when the path narrows so much you feel like giving up. Together, let's keep walking the narrow road and discover the life that truly lasts.